Is the slide visible? I'll just show the slide. You just let me know if it is visible. Is the slide visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So, see, almost we have come to the end of C++. So we'll talk about few more features or few more options that are there in C++. So after that, we can start with Java. So constant member function. See, constant member function means sometimes you want to create a function where they don't want to change the values that are there inside that function, or some data is there. You don't want someone to change it accidentally. So that function is only for the purpose of reading the data. It is like quite important data and it should not be deleted or it should not be altered. So in that case, this constant member functions will be useful. So what is this constant member functions means? The functions should be able to read the data, read the values inside the function, but they should not change them. So this can be done. This can be done through the compiler by using a constant called const. Using a keyword called const, you can create a constant function. So why it is used means, so these functions are used for um, like this keyword is used for making a function constant, because of which you can only perform the read operation. If you try to perform write operation or if you try to change the value, you will get an error. So this is the usage of constant member function. Constant member functions are the functions where you can read the data, but if you try to change the value inside that function, you will get an error. So now, um, how to make the function as constant? So how to make the function as constant? So first thing is I'll write a class. First I'll write one class. I'll give some name called demo. After this, I'll write one variable called integer x, and I'll write one function. I'll write one function called void display function. So now now I want to make this display function as the read only function. That is, it should read only the value of x. It should not be able to alter the value of x. So how can I make that? How can I make that means I have to suffix this function with the keyword const. So for the function prototype, for the function prototype, if you suffix the keyword with, if you suffix the keyword const, the function will become a constant function. Now this display, it is a constant function. Now the display, it is a constant function. So after this, I've defined the function. So I can add some logic to this void. This comes to, this belongs to demo class. Function name is this, and in the function definition, you should not write the const keyword. So if you write the const keyword in the function definition, you will get an error. So keep this point in mind for the uh, for the see now. See, one thing is while declaring the function, you should prefix this with the constant keyword, and also um, and also here also you should use this constant keyword inside the function prototype. Also you should prefix the keyword constant, and also the definition of the function, and also the function definition header, it should also contain the constant keyword. It should also contain the constant keyword. So once you write the constant keyword, so both the places, function prototype as well as function definition, here also you should write the constant keyword and here also you should write the const keyword. And after that, After that, if I try, so for example, here I have given some value x now. So if I try to change that value, if I try to change that value, like if I write it as x plus plus, so what it will do means it will increase the value of x by 1. I will get an error. See here, the changes are not allowed. Only thing is you can read the value of x. Whatever value of x is there, that you can read. You cannot change the value of that variable x. So this is regarding the constant function. So constant member function means it is only for reading purpose. You cannot make the right operations. So how to identify or how to define a constant function means the first thing is the prototype. The prototype should be suffixed with the keyword constant, and the function definition also. And the function definition also should be prefixed with the keyword constant. And inside the function definition, if you're trying to change the value, or if you're trying to make any changes or any changes to this data, you will get an error. So in our example, what I'm doing is I'm trying to change the value of x. So for example, assume that the value of x was 10. So here, if this statement is getting executed means the value of x will try to become 11, but this display, it's a constant function, so here the changes are not allowed. So if you try to execute this line, if you try to see c out of x, no error, because you're not changing the value of x. But inside this constant function, if I try to write x plus plus, x is trying to become 11. So I will get a compiler error. I'll get an error because it's a constant member function. I cannot change the value, but you can just read the value, or you can just display the value. So you are not changing anything here. So if you write like this, you won't get any error. But if you try to change the value, you will get error. So this is the usage of constant member function. So it is only read only process. It is only a read only process. So you cannot change the value of those variables, variables inside the constant function. So this is the constant member function. So mm, so um, now any doubts here? Any doubts in constant member function? So it is a function. Constant member function means it's a function where the right operations are not allowed. Right operations are not allowed. Only you can perform reading of data. Any doubts? Any doubts? Is this constant member function clear? See, it will perform only read operations. How to declare it? For the function prototype, suffix the keyword constant, and in the function header, in the function definition header, suffix the keyword constant. Other than that, everything will remain same. So if you just remove this constant, it will be the normal member function. So if you want to make a function as constant member function, just suffix the keyword constant. That means const. The keyword const should be added. So any doubt here? Any doubt? Yes or no? Is this constant member function clear? Yes, no, yes or no? Am I audible? Is my voice audible? I'm not getting it.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now see a little modification to this constant member function is mutable data member. See, mutable data member is never constant. It can be modified inside the constant function also. How to make the variable as mutable means just add the keyword mutable. Just prefix the variable with the keyword mutable. So the same example I'll write. So I'll write an example class. I'll write it as class demo. For this class, I'll write two variables, public integer x, integer y. After this, I'll write one function public. No, this is in the public area, no, so no need to write it again. I'll just write one function void display something. Mm. And I will write one more function void print void print. So two functions I will write. I'll end the class. I'll end this class. So now 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 normal functions. Okay, normal functions. If I write x plus plus y plus plus here also x plus plus y plus plus, I won't get any error. This will run fine, this will run fine, this will run fine, this will run fine. Because display is also a normal function, print is also a normal function. But now I will make this display as the constant function. Now display is a constant function. I mean, see, whenever I'm talking, whenever I'm calling as display, it refers to the disp function. So now disp is a constant function. So inside the disp functions, you cannot change the values. So I will get an error. I will get an error. But here I won't get an error. It will get compiled successfully. So not an issue. But but I want to change this value of y inside the constant function also. Inside this disp function also, I want to change the value of y. So if I want to do that means I want to declare this y as mutable. So I want to make this as a mutable data member. I want to make this as mutable. So if I want to make this as mutable means how to do that means for this variable just prefix the keyword mutable. So x is a normal integer variable, y is a mutable integer variable. So if I execute this line, compiler will throw me an error because I cannot change the value of a variable inside constant function. But if I execute this line, the compiler will not throw an error. Why? Because mutable variables, see, it can be modified inside the constant functions also. Inside the constant functions also, inside the constant function also, you are able to change the value of uh, y because y is a mutable variable. So it is not an error. So this statement will run successfully. Only when you are trying to increment the value of x, it will throw an error. But since y is a mutable data member, its value can be changed inside the constant function also. So that is okay because you can modify the value of a mutable variable inside the constant function. Is this point clear? Did you get the difference between normal variable and mutable variable? See, constant member function means you cannot change the value. Constant member function means you cannot change the value. So that is what no. See, in the previous example, what we studied, display is a constant function. Display is a constant function. Inside that constant function, I can only do read operations. So if I try to change the value, I will get an error. But inside the display function, inside the constant function also, inside the constant function also, I want to change the value of a variable. So if I want to do that means I should declare that variable as mutable variable. That means just prefix the keyword mutable. So this is how this is how it will be done. This is how it will be done. Is this point clear? Two things we studied now. Constant member function. See, these are the small bit things. See, small things which you should know. So small things in C++ programming. So the first one is constant member function. The second one is mutable data member. So if someone asks you what is constant member function, what is mutable data member, so you should be able to answer that. You should be able to answer that. Any doubts? Any doubts in the first two topics? Any doubts in the first two topics? Yes or no? So you should respond. If you are interacting, then I can think that you people are understanding. So if you're not interacting, means even I will not be able to analyze whether you people are following or not. So, mm,
Following.
okay. So mutable constant member function, mutable data members. So next one is arrow operator. So what is this arrow operator? See, this arrow operator means whenever you are using pointers, so you would have used this thing in structure also. So mm, why this arrow operator will be used? So what is the usage means? So member functions can be called with respect to an object through a pointer. So you want to call a member function. You want to call a member function with respect to an object through a pointer. So at that point of time, you will be using the arrow operator. The arrow operator is given by this symbol. So an hyphen followed with it's like an arrow mark. So arrow refer. So that's why they will call it as the arrow operator. So why it is used means to call an object through a pointer. So for that purpose itself, this arrow operator will be used. So how does we'll write one program for this for this arrow operator. For example, the same thing. There is one class called demo. For this class called demo, uh, we'll write some function x, then display. So I want to call this display function. So this arrow operator will be used to call to call a member function through a pointer. So I want to call this function. I want to call this member function. I want to call this member function display. So how I can do that? How I can do that through pointers? How I can do the same operation using pointers? So the first thing is I have to create an object. The first thing is I have to create the object. So I have to create the object. So first what I will do means inside the main function, I'll just create an object demo d. After this, I want to create a pointer. Why? Because member functions can be called with respect to an object. See, the member function is display, can be called with respect to an object is d through a pointer. So I will create one pointer. So the C declaration, how to create a pointer, star dp, some name. This is his name. So dp is a pointer. So after that, to an object through a pointer pointing to an object. Pointer pointing to an object can be written as the assignment. How to do that? Dp is equal to address of d. The pointer, if this is a pointer syntax, like dp is equal to address of d. So after that, you can access this display function through the arrow operator. Dp, the arrow operator, the function name. That's all. So this is how you want to access the member function. See, this is same as d dot display. Using object also you can access the display function. So you can either access using the dot operator, or whenever you're using pointer, you can access them through the arrow operator also. So this is the usage of accessing the member function with respect to an object through arrow operator. So this is one example. So after this, what else topic is there? So um, one function can call another function. So this is the new, this is another concept in C++. One member function can be called from another member function, meaning, so there will be one function called display. So there is one function called display. So this function display can call one more function called print. So this is the terminology. So what is calling one member function from another member function means, inside a function you can call another function. So that is which we'll call it as calling one member function from another member function. So I'll write a program to illustrate this also. Um, let's take it as demo, class demo. So class demo contains one variable called x, and two functions should be there. So two functions I will call it as, one function I will call it as display, one function I'll call it as display, and I'll give some parameter integer, and another function I will call it as print. uh, Print. So for this also I'll take one parameter called integer. So two functions. So this class demo contains a variable x and functions print, display. So now I'll define them. I'll return the structure. I'll define them. So outside the class now, void class name, scope resolution. The first function is disp. So disp, it is taking some integer value. Now I'll take it as some integer a, disp a. Then I'll assign the value of a to x. X is equal to a. So after this, I'll write one more function, void demo. Another function is print. It will contain a variable called b. So inside this function, I will call the display function, disp display function. It is taking a parameter which I'm passing through b. That's all. After this, I'll write some main function, void main demo, some d. I'll just call d dot print. I just call d dot print of 100. So how this function is working, or what this function is doing means, it is calling the display function from the print function. So I'll just tell, so what this demo class contains, a variable x. So this demo class contains a variable x. It contains two functions. One function is given by the name print, and the second function is given by the name display. So it is taking integer as the parameter. So first thing is an object will be created here. Main function, first the object will be created. Once the object is created, the print of 100 will be called. So whenever d dot print of 100 is called means, the control will go to this line where the value of b will be 100. So print of 100 means b will take the value 100, and inside this function you are calling one more function, display of b. So there is a function called print which is taking the value 100. So inside this print function, you are calling one more function called display. So for display, you are passing the value of b, which is nothing but 100. So display of 100. So when you are calling display of 100, the control will go to the display function. So here a is taking the value 100 because display of 100 means a will get the value 100. So this a will be replaced with 100, which is x. So finally x will get the value 100. If you print here cout of x means you'll get the output as 100. So what happened in this case? you called you called print function called display function. So that is what. So within the print function, you are able to call another function called disp. So this is the example of calling one member function from the another member function. Uh, is this point clear? Yes or no? So calling one member function from another member function. See, small topics, but it is having importance. Yes or no? Understood or not understood? Yes or no? So you should respond how many times to tell. You should answer or you should ask some questions. If you're not understanding, you should tell, I'm sir, I'm not understanding. If you're understanding, you should tell, sir, I'm understanding, like that. So
Understood.
if the class is interactive, so it will be good for the faculty also. So next, so these are some of the small topics, but they're important also. Um, and I'll just clear this and we'll proceed with. Okay, so here only I'll write. See, like we have spoken about the array, no? So array can be used in two places. Okay, in in the C++, you can create an array of objects. You can create an array of objects, meaning meaning um, meaning this I've already explained. So there will be one class called demo. Will be class called demo, and there'll be a function called public, and I'll just write void display cout hello. So you can you can create. See, I want to call this function display function 5 times. I want to call this function 5 times using different objects. So first time I'll take it as demo a b c d e. After that I'll call a dot display, a dot disp, b dot disp, like this, c dot disp, d dot disp, e dot disp. I can write like this. So I can write like this. So I'm creating 5 different objects and I'm calling the same function. So the output will be like hello will be printed 5 times. So instead of doing like that, instead of creating the variable separately, even I can create an array of objects. It's just like the normal thing. How do you create an array of integer name, then the array subscript. So this we're creating an array. Integer a is an array. A is an array of integer type containing 5 elements. The same way you can create an array of objects. How to create that? Syntax: class name, object name, then class name, object name, then the number of objects you want. Now D is an object. Now D is an object which belongs to class called demo. It contains 5 elements. So the same thing, just like just like just like the normal data array data type, the basic data type, you can create an array of objects. So this is a syntax. So class name, object name, then size of the object within that array subscript, within that square brackets. So after that, how to call this means the normal thing. So how do you call that? For I is equal to 0, I less than 5, I plus plus, then how to call this function means d of I dot display. See, it's the same way. See, declaring the array is also same like the basic data types, or reading the array, traversing the array, printing the array. So everything you can do it through the for loop, and the syntax is same. So there is no difference in the syntax. Only thing is you should know you can create array of objects. Now the main thing is you should know you can create array of objects in C++. And one more thing is even you can use the arrays inside the class also. So that we will call it as array inside objects. So what is that? So you can declare an array inside the class also. So such arrays will become the members of all the objects of the class. So it can be manipulated or it can be accessed by all the functions in that class. So one example can be like array, for array inside object can be like class. Some I will call it as class B. I'll call it as some class B. Here I'll write one integer array. Integer a of 5. Integer a of 5. After that, after that, I have to read this now. Void read function. I will tell read function. After that, read function, what to do. So for integer I is equal to 0, I less than 5, I plus plus, plus plus, I is equal to 0, I less than 5, I plus plus. I'll just read the array values e of I. So I will read 5 values. So what I'm telling is even you can use the array inside the classes, that we will call it as array of objects. So for this thing, if you create a class inside the main function, if you create an object b, uh, b object, I'll take it as b object. So then if you write b object dot read, it will read the values of array from a0, a1, a2, a3 and a4. It is reading the 5 values which you have to enter through the keyboard. So this is the explanation. So you are using the array inside the classes. So whenever you are performing these kind of operations, we will call it as array inside the object. So in C++, two possibilities. Either you can create an array of object, or even you can use arrays inside the classes also. So the syntax, see, the working is same. The working of arrays, reading the array, deleting the, traversing the array, removing the elements of the array, accessing the array, everything is same. Only thing is the places where you are using. One thing is you are trying to create an object, and in the second scenario, you're trying to using it inside the class. The retrieval operation, the storing operation, the accessing operation, all those things are same only. So um, it will not change much. So so you just remember, arrays means you can use them, you can use the array uh, yeah, as array of objects also, or you can use the array inside the class also. So that is how this is being used in C++. So these are some of the concepts which are um, which are the which like small things which you should know. So then after this what else is there? So after this we have one concept called the review of structure. The review of structure. So I think this I will do it in the next class because it will take around 20 minutes of time. So one thing is like here what I'll just give an introduction. So in the tomorrow's class I will just finish this part. So what happens here means the structure can be used to hold elements of different types or elements of same type also. So these individual elements will be stored separately. So when you're treating it individually, it doesn't have any meaning. But when you club them, it will have some meaning. For example, here see integer d, integer m, integer y. So they are separate. So these three are separate variables. So if I refer only D, I don't get any meaning. If I refer only M, I don't get any meaning. If I refer only Y, I won't get any meaning. But when I club them, I can call it as the day. I can call it as the some day. So today is 27, 7, 1975, like that. So when I combine these values, when I combine these three variables, I'll get some date, so that you can take it. So that is this is just an introduction. So we will see uh, how it is useful and what are the drawbacks are there. What if someone tries to modify the data? You know that date will be from 1 to 31st. So in the month of February it will be from 1 to 28, and also month is from 1 to 12. And so if someone somewhere in the code, he will write a code where the date will become 95, where the month will become 75. So we will check all those things, how it is tackled and how it is done. So this is just an introduction. So the remaining we'll see in the tomorrow's class. I'll stop the class now. Remaining we'll see in the tomorrow's class.